This is a home game at my place with 8 players, and the blinds are 50 cents and $1. This is going to be the first Philhelmuth trap hand, King Jack, which is not the greatest hand to open, but I do decide to call an early position open, and surely then they get punished right away by side, and decide to dunk it in and make the call. So already 2 mistakes in this hand. But I do get lucky and see a 2-pair flop, King Jack 9. Obviously Queen 10 is the nuts here. It's checked through, and then on the turn I decide to lead for some protection. I am not going large here, so I go about 40% pot.
Check.
On this texture.
King Jack.
I could be losing, and then the 5 doesn't really change anything, and I'm up against ace 10 for a win. Time for the Greg Hay Memorial hand. We all love Greg. Mickey will be playing Greg in this hand, so I 3-bet queens over Mickey's standard open. Make it 11.
I'll probably catch the second half. I have to go get wine. I have to go pick up some wines tomorrow. To wine. I'm gonna wine all the way to the winery.
He calls.
All right, Mickey and me, just for the video.
We see a flop of 7-3 deuce rainbow, which I'll usually miss, so I'll be betting small, about a quarter pot here. A $7 bet. Flat calls. Turn 8 of clubs. It is checked around. And after all the funny games on the board, we get a river. Mickey leads for 35, and at this point I'm a little bewildered. I decide to look him up, but I'm thinking that he might just have some sort of a bluff. He shows up with a set of 8s, and I'm bamboozled. So he made it on the turn. Craig, call until you make it. Good job. Okay, so in this next round I start out as the donkey, and I get lucky on the way. So 8-6 suited in the small blind, I complete a limp by the button, and side to my left raises to 3. Button calls. I of course am going to come along at this point, last to act. And we go to a flop, and I entirely smash the flop with the nuts, so I make the straight. There is a flush draw on the board of not my suit, so I am interested in getting a lot of chips in. I start with a check, and then Ron to my right, who is on the button, bets, and I raise. So he bets 5, I make it 17. Side to my left makes the call. Ron jams, and he has about 150-ish in his stack, and I decide to overjam. Side folds. Ron obviously is jammed, so he's jammed with Queen 10. Just has a pair of 10s, and we get to see a run out. But I mean, I didn't really need protection there because I didn't have a flush draw, and I just got lucky in this, and we win a nice sized pot here. This hand is a classic Daniel Negreanu hand, and you'll see it. He would have probably played it better than I did, but 9-10 suited, right up his alley. We open the normal standard $2.50 open.
I see very strange artifacts. I'm going into the doctor's on Monday.
And obviously we're going to get called here.
We're all humans here.
Yeah, but I have wild blind spots. It feels like there's a ceiling.
So we had a call on our left from side, who isn't in the picture, and I believe it's going to go heads up. Well, we get a board of 10-8-3, so a flop top pair. It's good enough to check call with. He's going to continuation bet, and I'm just going to call. Oh, in fact, it isn't. He sort of stabbed because I was the original better. We flop 2 pair, turn 2 pair, so now I lead and check the river, feigning weakness, and note that the turn completed flushes and straights, so I wasn't interested in bloating the pot there. This next hand is the bookie says woof hand because he always barks when he knows your opponent is bluffing. So we pick up ace 4 suited in early position. I make my regular open. It's a hand with good potential. You won't ever catch me open limping anything from any position, including this hand. Nevin raises to 10. I come along. Good implied odds here. We're both fairly deep stacked.
We're good?
Yep. That's good.
And so it's going to go heads up, I think. And we get an ace high board. And he continues. So we have ace queen 3 on the board. I call another $10 bet. And another queen comes on the turn. This turn, he bets 25, and I decide to still call. Wasn't quite believing, and in fact, he was bluffing with 7 deuce. Yeah, I mean, this was a case where I just thought that I could at least chop. Gus Hansen likes to play junky hands sometimes, so this one is the Gus Hansen approved hand. It's even slightly better than what he usually plays with. King 6 of diamonds, are you kidding me? Yeah, definitely call the dealer on the button. So we have multi-way pot, and just follow the action.
Alright, that's good.
So we get an ace high and a flush draw. We get some betting from early position there. Call. I'm just going to flat call here. Now the 7 opens up some more opportunities for us. We have an open-ended straight, so I'm definitely going to bet this one. And I go roughly pot size. And do we get any callers? We do get Mickey. Miracle 8 comes, and we have our straight.
Heads up number 3.
We get a check. 50, and Mickey calls and disgustingly reveals his 2-pair, which he rivered. In this next hand, we have again the Phil Hellmuth trap hand. What? How does he get away with this? So King Jack again, and let's take a look at the action here. We've got some pre-flop action, some betting going on, multi-way.
Okay. This one back. Take a change.
Got a board of Jack 3-3, so
1, 2,
looking
3,
pretty good for my Jack.
Many.
Looks like I
Many.
checked it back there.
Too many
Then
to count.
we get another Jack on the
Check.
turn.
Check.
And
Check is good for me too.
we got 10. And then, not noticing that I actually have a full house, I'm thinking in terms of chips. My brain didn't really register I have a full house here. The 5 actually scares me because it fills a flush, spade flush, so I check it back. And everybody thinks I was slow playing Mickey here with his ace king. So actually, yeah, I mean, I lost a lot of value there. But what are you going to do? This last hand is going to be the Phil Ivy nuts hand, and we'll understand why when we see it. So it's a bomb pot. We get 3 cards, so pineapple style. We discard 1. I leave myself with Queen Jack suited, obviously. And let's follow the action, and I'll just insert comments as we go along. So we have $35 to start the before we actually see any flop. There are $35 in it. Then we see a flop of
Everybody just
miracle flop of Queen Jack. So we flop essentially the nuts, and we get a bet of $15 for Mickey, which I'm very happy to see. I'm just going to flat call here, not to scare anyone away, and maybe attract a few more people into it. And comes around to Imad, who decides to call. And so we have the additional $45 coming in, which will bring us up to $80. we're going to see a turn, which is a 10 of hearts. Fantastic turn, because now people start to have straights and various trip type hands, maybe with the last queen, so forth. So, or maybe even just a higher pair. I would lead out for 25. Not sure if it's good or bad. A very small bet compared to the pot. We get calls, so now we bring it up to 155. And finally, the river is kind of a brick. Doesn't really fill any flushes or likely full houses. But Imad leads for 50. Mickey calls, and I decide to jam. Kind of messy here, but I managed to get my chips in somehow. And yeah, and then they have decisions to make. I've shortened the video a bit, but Imad folded. Mickey also folded, showed kings for an overpair. Imad did not show. So in summary, one of the bigger pots of the night, bomb pot, and I was certainly happy with the result. To summarize the game, just going through the hands, you'll see that there were different results. Mostly what I've shown here are profitable hands, except for the second one with the queens. And in total, I've shown profits of close to $500 in all of these hands. My actual session result was a bit over 330, so obviously I left out some losing hands. But what I want to say about some of these hands, especially with the King Jack offsuit ones, some of the other implied odds hands, is that I think that I, in a couple cases at least, didn't maximize my value, could have done better, and probably could have gotten away from the queens on the river. So hope you enjoyed this video, and listen on for future ones.